Welcome to Volted Moto. Today we're going to be putting an ASI BAC4000 on this Surron X. Obviously the main advantage of this controller is being able to upgrade your battery to a higher voltage, or having more control is another one. With this controller, the app is going to give you really fine tuning controls. Egg Rider is going to be a really nice display over the stock setup. I've been riding this bike for about 6 months and I've been very satisfied with stock power, but there is some moments where you're pegged out and you wish you had a little more juice. So it'll be cool to feel that on this bike. So just to give you a rundown on my bike as far as where I'm at with upgrades on this Surron X. It's a stock controller, stock battery, stock motor. The 4M Foundry body kit really gives this bike a nice feel. I usually rock a front fender, but I broke it off last time I laid it down. Other things I've upgraded is the hard mount for the handlebars. The bolts right into the triple tree, that's a big one. Even hitting big bumps, you can tweak that handlebar system. That's very much mountain bike setup. So that was a big upgrade for me, as well as the Pro Taper bars with a little rise. I like the full end guards, do a lot of single track, and it's honestly saved me. Just bumping off a tree is better than bumping your knuckles into it, so that's nice. Other upgrades, the Warp 9 pegs, really needed on this bike. The stock pegs are really subpar as far as traction onto your shoes. I've got the Milk Racing peg drops, as well as the stiffener. It made it more comfortable to ride. It also kind of made your clearance a little lower. So I've had a few issues bottoming out. An early upgrade I did was in the Warp 9 linkage and triangle in the back suspension system. I've upgraded the tires from stock to the Starcross soft Michelin tires. So let's hop right into this upgrade. So this won't be an exact how-to video. I'm just going to show you how it goes for me, and if there's any issues that arise while I do it. It will give you some insight as far as to how it is going to go on there, but the EMoto Bros video is very well laid out and going to show you exactly how to get this thing on there. So they have a QR code right on their packaging. I put it on this plastic bag once I got it off the packaging. Basically you can scan that. It takes you right to the product page, and on the product page there's everything you need on there to know how to install this. Alright, so step one is really get the battery out of there and take this controller off. Alright, there's the controller, fully removed. So yeah, that's your tip over sensor there. So, make sure it's still up when you put it back in. It's got an up arrow. Just make sure when you reinstall it that is facing up. This is what kills your bike when you fall over. So if this senses that it's fallen over, that's what kills the bike. So it's an important piece. It's good to have. One thing to note here, your stock display has your horn button, and that's how you normally hit your horn. Now, I have already installed the Warp 9 horn button. I highly recommend this. You can get the button that it goes right on the stock brake levers front facing, as well as the headlight switch on the right side. I really wanted the headlight switch, and when I got the headlight switch, I went ahead and got the horn, knowing I'd eventually upgrade. So it eliminates your horn button, but you can get the Warp 9 one and plug it right in. So, something to think about. Now that we have the cable extensions connected with the bolts and nylocks, we're going to now heat up the heat shrink to shrink this. They made special note to make sure you obviously match up the colors of the wires, and to expose a little at the end, so that way you can confirm down the line that you did indeed hook it up correctly. So from here, we're just gonna heat them up. So at this point, the controller is fully installed. All the wires are connected. I've tested with the battery to make sure that it's functional and powers on, at least gives it an LED indication of whether or not there's an error. No errors on this, so we're feeling good about it. We're just gonna fire it up, make sure the egg writer is up to date, and just start doing some of those troubleshooting points to make sure that everything's working. But otherwise, the install wasn't that bad. I've taken this controller out before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. So it's super important once you get this kit installed to make sure you follow the instructions on EMoto Bros to a T. I would watch the video ahead almost to the end and then come back, because a lot of times you start to do things and you may proceed with an operation. The example is reading and writing the settings on this egg writer. You don't want to write too soon because there may be some other things in the video he's going to mention before you hit write. Not a big deal because you can just read again and change those settings and write, but it may save you some time on setup that I did. I just started punching in the numbers that he said and hit write and was cycling, and then there was one more setting in another menu, and you just kind of end up coming back and forth with it. So I'd recommend watching the video through the end and then coming back and doing some of your settings there. It is just a bit fiddly. You're going to spend some time with it and kind of tune it to your liking as well. I have the bypass for this battery. I got it with the kit, but I'm actually going to ride at least for a couple of days without the battery bypass, just to see and react to the stock battery with the controller. I know a lot of people may not be comfortable bypassing the battery. I intend to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much the install of the ASI BAC4000. I'm gonna do some test riding now, and yeah.
So this is one. This should be like the most tame you could possibly do. Immediately, the power roll on is different. I would say smoother, but I don't really know. Okay, so like I'm full throttle and like I can only go 15, or what the program is saying is 15. I have a bigger sprocket, so I'm thinking that 15 is a lie. This is our second level of on-road. It's going to limit us at what it's holding, 35. And then we'll go 3, where there should be no limit to the top speed. Alright, level 3 should be balls to walls off-road. Let's try it out. Ooh yeah, nice and peppy. But not more than stock, I would say. Maybe a hair. Because I could usually just whip it right up. It's way more smoother, so bringing it up is a little slower. I could kind of crack it up before, just pop full. It'll pick it right up, but now I can pull into it and it rides a little better. So I could probably tune that up to be a little more juice out the gate. But in 3 off-road stock settings based off of their parameters, kind of rides the same, if not a little less pep off the full throttle. Like I could just full throttle right there and it would lift it right up. There's a bit of delay in it. It's like full throttle and it picks me up nice and slow. Nice and even though. Way more even. It's a lot less like clinky, clanky. It's really kind of sneaks up on you. It's a little more smooth. Whereas before it was like, it's just different. It's fully different. It feels different. Way different all around. It's just smoother. Smoother is the best way I can put it. With the stock battery, with this controller, it's just way smoother. Dumb bunny scared the shit out of me.
So with this being day one with the controller, there's a lot of unknowns as far as things I need to learn with the app and how to tune more kind of to my liking. And so that's just with the stock battery, so I don't really expect a whole lot of difference there. But I will bypass this battery maybe after a couple more rides where I can fiddle with this and just kind of understand the app a little better. And then the bypass should be a reasonable upgrade, being able to get 7,000 watts versus the 5,000 cap that this battery is allowing. Overall, I've been waiting a long time to put this controller on there, and I feel like every upgrade on these bikes just leads you to the next one, unfortunately. Which is good. It's good to upgrade, but it's just bad for the wallet. It just seems like constantly, now that I've upgraded the power a little bit, all I'm thinking about is new tires and new brakes, and you just think of the next thing. And I think it's good and bad with the Surron in that way, that there's always something fun to work on if that's what you're into, and I kind of am. I like fiddling around, so it is fun to constantly just change things over time. But cost-wise, you start to creep into some numbers that get you a lot kind of nicer bike out the gate, but the trade-off being that this is customized almost down to every part to what you're into. I have a list, of course, of things I want to do, and there's a list of things that I've already done, but ultimately, every time I get on this bike, I have a lot of fun. I do like the feature of the time on the egg rider. If you're not keeping track or you don't have a stopwatch going, you do know what time you started the bike. So, if you're out and about and you've lost track of time, which I often do on this bike, you can kind of see how long you've been out there and make an assumption there. I wear my watch when I ride, so I know what time it is, but may not know what time I started. This bike is just constantly a blast. Honestly, I don't get on it and not have a good time, but thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see what I do next, and hit that like button if you so did like this video. And if you have any questions about the BAC4000 or installation setups, settings, things I did, things I didn't do, hit it in the comments. If I did something so terribly wrong, please let me know. I'd love to fix it. And thanks so much.